So I've did multiple videos with the Ghost, testing heads, carbs, gear ratios, but I've did all the videos or all the tests with the stock rod, stock internals. So GoPowerSports has a kit for the Ghost that has all the billet parts, billet flywheel, billet rod, a hot 265 cam, springs, a thin head gasket, and the kit gets rid of the rev limiting coil. So the Ghost on the Azusa bike already has part of the GoPowerSports kit. So it has the billet flywheel, it has the Predator coil, which doesn't have the rev limiter, a 10 thousandths head gasket, and then the upgraded valve springs, but it's still running the stock rod. So in this video, I'm gonna install the rest of the GoPowerSports kit, the 6773 billet rod, and then instead of the hot 265 cam that comes with the kit, I'm gonna install the Fire 265 cam. So I think the stock Ghost cam's around 252 lift, so the Fire 265 should definitely wake it up. So I'm gonna take the bike out for a 0 to 30 and top speed with the setup that's on here now, which is a 60 on the rear sprocket and then a 15 on the clutch. And then I'll swap out the stock 252 cam for the Fire 265 and then swap in the billet rod. Then I'll take the bike back out for the same test and we'll see how it compares. All right, we'll see what it does. 0 to 30. Man, it seems pretty quick. It's got these short tires on it, which kind of makes it quick. 3.93, 3.93. Okay, so now I'll do a top speed run, and we'll see what it does. It should be pretty decent with this 4-to-1 ratio. Yeah, it seems to run pretty good. Top speed run, Ghost with the 4-to-1 ratio on the Azusa bike. So the Ghost runs pretty good with this 4-to-1 ratio. So far with the 4-to-1 ratio, the bike did 3.93, 0 to 30, and 53.8 7.9 top speed. Okay, got a baseline on the bike, so now I'll swap out the 252 cam for the Fire 265 and swap in a billet rod, and we'll take it back out and see what it does. Let's pull this chain guard off of here. Now I'll probably install the rod from underneath, that way I don't have to pull the head off. This chain off of here. I believe this is the first time that I've had the side cover off the Ghost. Do a quick oil change. Pull up this valve cover, loosen up this valve train. Pull off these rocker arms. Pull this flywheel off of here. Let's pull the stock rod out of here and the crank. Pull this wrist pin clip out of here. Pull this wrist pin out of here. Okay, there's your stock rod. That thing is light. So even though the stock rod is super light, I think the billet rod is comparable in weight. So the stock rod weighs about 143 grams. And then the billet rod weighs 129.5, so it's actually lighter without the insert. Then you add the bearings, the inserts, and you got 149.6, so it's really comparable, but a lot stronger. And it has that forced oiling scoop, which is really nice. That forces oil into the bearing inserts, because sooner or later the stock rod will wear out, because you can see the scores in there, and it doesn't have bearing inserts. So now I'll install these bearing inserts, which should only go one way because they got that tab there, and the tab on the bearing. And then the same for the cap, got the tab on the bearing, so it can only go on there one way. Check these bearing clearances, and a lot of times I'll just use the dial caliper or a digital caliper. It makes it a lot quicker. Could use plastic gauge. And I'll check it in a couple different spots just to make sure. Install this rod. I'm going to go ahead and knock off this gear for the governor, because it does not need that. Seems how the Ghost doesn't even have a governor wheel. Push this piston up in here and install this crank. Drop this crank down in here. Throw some oil on here. Torque these rod bolts down, and I'll torque them to 170 inch-pounds, but I torque them 20 inch-pounds at a time until I work my way up to 170. And then I'll back them off and then do that process one more time just to seat the bearings. So we got the Fire 265, and then we got the Ghost cam, Fire 65 on the left. The lobes look like they have more duration for sure than the 252. Put some oil on here. Line up these timing marks. Okay. Throw on my crank holding tool so that way I can torque down this flywheel. Torque this flywheel down to 65 foot-pounds. Throw this clutch on here. So the Fire 265 dropped right into the Ghost with no clearancing, so that makes things nice. Drop in these push rods. And I think the cam card's calling for 3 thousandths for the valve lash. Drop on these rocker arms. I got the billet rod installed inside the Ghost and the Fire 265 cam. And what's cool about it, it dropped right in with 0 clearance issues. So now I'll take it back out for a 0 to 30 to see if it'll be 3.93 0 to 30, and I think it was 53.79 top speed. Seems pretty snappy so far. Oh, runs pretty good. It's 0 to 30, 265 cam and the billet rod in the Ghost. Oh, you can definitely feel it's got a lot more pull to it once it gets up in the RPM band. So it's a 0 to 30 and 4.67. Alright, let me do a top speed now. See what it does. Yeah, it's got more pull in the mid-range for sure. Oh yeah, it runs really good with this cam. Surprisingly, the carb's keeping up pretty well too. The PC carb. Yeah, it's definitely a lot faster with this cam. Alright, top speed run, Fire 265 in the Ghost. I probably have to do that again. Man, this thing moves with this cam in it, I'll tell you that. This cam makes a big difference. So the bike definitely has a lot more top speed with the Fire 265. So with the stock cam, 252 cam in the Ghost, the bike did 3.93 0 to 30 and 53.79 top speed. Then I added the Fire 265 cam and a billet rod, and the bike slowed down a little bit from 0 to 30, did 4.67, but gained a lot of top speed, 59.34. It has a lot more pull from like 15 or 20 miles an hour all the way up through the RPM band. So the Fire 265 cam is definitely a good cam for the Ghost, definitely weights it up. So now I'm wondering what the Hot 265 cam will do, the cam that actually comes with the kit.